Hello and welcome guys to my channel, my multiverse, and today we are going to see what would happen if Vegeta fell into the Akame Kill universe. This is my second what if video so far. Hope you guys enjoy it, and without any delay, let's begin.
Vegeta in Akame ga Kill. The Earth was lost, with not much time left. Trunks was preparing the time machine to get out of there quickly. The Supreme Kais, Shin and Gawasu had already withdrawn with the help of their time rings, and Goku and Vegeta held on with the power they had left at the legs of the time machine. While the wave of Zamasu tried to fled in all directions, because the king of everything, Lord Zeno, decided to make everything disappear. The time machine managed to pass into the time tunnel, but Lord Zeno's powers also passed through there, making everyone nervous. Vegeta looking at the wave of destruction slowly reaching them. Then he quickly, without hesitation, lets go of the time machine, and with the remaining ki he used a Gallic gun to slow down the wave of destruction. When Goku was going to let go to help him, the machine disappeared, sending everyone to their world. Luckily for Vegeta, the wave of destruction stopped. In a place similar to Earth, a hole opened up and Vegeta was shot out, with the hole closing and leaving Vegeta there annoyed, getting up and seeing that he was in a forest. TCH, where am I? This is Earth, but at the same time it's not the one I know. Vegeta said to himself, getting up and looking around. What I do know is that I'm not dead. Zamasu isn't a problem anymore. Ha 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 ha, take that damn bug, ha ha ha. Said Vegeta, mocking Zamasu. The best thing is to investigate the surroundings and see where I am. After all, I'm sure they will look for me. Vegeta told himself while searching for any key in any direction. After a few seconds he could notice that a little far, but not that far away, there were many key. Vegeta giving himself the idea that maybe it was a city. But he also noticed that there were beings with power superior to an ordinary human, and others were simply very evil. He didn't give it much of importance. From his broken battle suit, he took out a capsule and threw it to the ground. From there another battle suit came out. It was the one he used while training with Whis. And then he put on the other battle suit, while throwing the other damaged battle suit, right away. And then Vegeta looked for the animals nearby to hunt them and eat them to replenish his energy. When he was finished eating, Vegeta took flight to reach that city and investigate where he was. Vegeta, while flying, could see in that distance that it really was a city where he was going, although with a different architecture than the cities he knew, seeing that there was a castle in the center, giving him the idea that it was a kingdom. In order not to attract attention, Vegeta descended on the ground at the entrance unseen by anyone and walked into the city. Inside the city, he saw that the humans were equal to those of the Earth of his world, remembering what the gods said about the different parallel worlds. And there many people looked at Vegeta. Some people looked at him with curiosity, and others making fun of his way of dressing, and some women with lust when they saw his physique. But Vegeta didn't give a shit about all that. He just kept walking. More, however, from a rooftop a young woman with blonde hair looked at him, surprised by his way of dressing and his physique. Feeling something in her instinct that warned her about that man, but she recognized him as someone who was dedicated to fights. After so much walking it became night. Vegeta ended up reaching a street that seemed abandoned, but it wasn't. Vegeta felt ki from a lot of people there, but most of them were evil. Gyyaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaa Getting Vegeta's attention, seeing the building where the cry came from, he could feel three very weak ki being surrounded by many stronger ki than those, but they are very evil ki, thought Vegeta. Inside the building. No, please no, said a girl with blue hair and blue eyes, completely scared to death, while a man in a black suit approached her with an ice pick to gouge out her eyes, while the other one, a girl with pink hair and eyes of the same color, looked terrified, and another blonde with yellow eyes cried in pain on the ground. Her feet were broken. Please don't, please don't. The blue-haired girl continued to beg for mercy as that black suit man approached her with his ice pick. A centimeter from the girl's eye, the hand of the man in the black suit no longer advanced. They all saw a man in a gray suit with white armor. It was a very strange dress for them. It was Vegeta, holding the black suit man's hand. Crack. A noise was heard from that black suit man's arm, making him cry out in pain, letting go of the ice pick, and then Vegeta kicked him, sending him flying out of the window and falling to the ground dead. Who are you? He asked, annoyed. Said the guy who sent his men to gouge out the girl's eyes. Vegeta ignored them and noticed that the 3-week key belonged to 3 girls. A blonde with yellow eyes was lying on the ground crying from the pain she felt. Vegeta, realizing that her feet were bent backwards from knees down, while the other 2 they were being restrained, the one with blue hair with eyes of the same color and another one with pink hair with eyes of the same color. Suddenly the men's that held the girls collided dead against the walls, while Vegeta held each girl in one arm, surprising them and those present. He carefully lowered them next to the crying blonde, while everyone looked at him doubtful whether to attack him or not. And the master of those guys was just frozen, completely scared. "Tell me," Vegeta uttered a word for the first time, drawing the attention of the girls and those present. "Who was it?" Vegeta asked seriously, looking at the girls, while the blonde girl did not stop crying. The culprits looked fearfully at Vegeta. "It was him and he ordered it," said the girl with pink hair, pointing to another guy in a suit. It was a young man with blonde hair who was sitting on a sofa. Seeing this, the guy in the suit launched himself to attack Vegeta, but his legs were gone. Vegeta destroyed them with 2 very small key spheres, with the guy falling to the ground. Vegeta walked up to him. "You're not even worth killing," said Vegeta as he kicked him out the window just like the first guy. After seeing this, everyone came out of their shock and ran scared. Everyone thought in their mind, that guy is too strong, cruel and seemed to have very dangerous abilities. They didn't want to die, they leaving their master behind, running for their life scared. However, Vegeta was at the exit door, scaring them more. Vegeta raised his hand and with a concentrated ki blast to just finish them off and not to destroy the building, and he disintegrated them all. Then he looked at the other men who couldn't even move from the fear they felt. One of them, a fat guy, the same one who had ordered the blue-haired girl's eyes to be gouged out. The fat guy, fearing Vegeta, quickly moved to where the blue-haired girl was, and then quickly taking her hostage by putting a knife to her neck. "Take one more step and I'll cut her throat," the fat guy threatened Vegeta as the blue-haired girl trembled in fear. The pink-haired girl was scared and worried about her friend, and the blonde-haired one too, despite the pain she felt. The others culprits saw this as an opportunity to escape. "Go ahead, do it," said Vegeta to that fat man. And the surprise of those present, including the girl with pink hair and the girl with blonde hair, who despite the pain she felt, she could not stop looking at the guy who was saving them. "Before your knife reaches to her body, I will have already killed you more times than you will reincarnate," said Vegeta. While Vegeta with his speed instantly grabbed the knife, to which the fat man threatened to cut the girl's neck. Vegeta taking the knife away from the girl's neck, and the fat man seeing Vegeta in front of him, he unconsciously let go of the girl. After that, Vegeta punched the fat man in the face with such force that his head fell off from his body. The remaining 3 guys couldn't even move out of fear, but looking for a way out, the blonde young man spoke. "Please wait," the young blonde said, getting Vegeta's attention. "Stay away from those 3 country girls. If you want money, I'll give you whatever you want. In fact, if you work for me, you'll have everything: money, alcohol, women, girls. If that's your thing, whatever you want will be yours." The young blonde finished speaking, leaving Vegeta looking at him seriously and the girls nervous about the decision that Vegeta would make. "You think that the mundane desires of earthlings interest me?" said Vegeta, leaving the young girls and those present confused by his words. "I have the power of a god. Your stupid things are useless to me." Vegeta finished speaking, and those present had their eyes wide open completely by his words. And Vegeta making a small ki blast similar to the previous one, disintegrating the rest of them. The girls were shocked to see how easily Vegeta finished off their captors, but also surprised by the last thing he said. "Take your friend and go home. That's what you get for trusting strangers," Vegeta told them before slowly starting to walk away. The 3 watched Vegeta walk away, but the blue-haired girl spoke up. "Thank you," the blue-haired girl said, as she cried in happiness. Vegeta paused for a second, but kept walking. "Wait," said the pink-haired girl. That caught Vegeta's attention, causing him to stop walking. "I know it's a lot to ask after what you've done for us, but please, could you keep taking care of us?" the pink-haired girl asked, causing Vegeta to look at her with a surprised face. "Do I look like a babysitter, girl? Go home," Vegeta said, annoyed, implying that he wasn't there to babysit, and started to walk away. The girls saw him somewhat surprised by his way of acting. He helped them, but it seemed that he would not do it anymore. Gee. The blonde girl groaned in pain as she tried to move, causing Vegeta to stop again. The blue-haired girl held her in her arms. Fal, don't overexert yourself, we'll help you, she told the blonde-haired girl, revealing her name. Fal looked at both girls while crying with sadness. Moon, Air, my feet, Fal said with pain in her feet and in her soul for what had just happened to her. The blue-haired girl, Luna, and the pink-haired girl, Air, couldn't help but feel sadness for their cheerful friend, who now had not only her feet broken, but her spirit too. The best thing would be to take you to a doctor to check you out, said Vegeta behind them, to the surprise of the three girls, as he said that he would not take care of them. Get away, Fal said, crawling away from Vegeta, completely scared. Vegeta looked at her seriously, while the other two looked at her anguished, since she was the most cheerful and positive of the three. Fal, he saved us and now he's helping us to help you, Air said, trying to calm her friend down. Fal looked at Vegeta and seeing his serious face scared her even more. That's not true. He saved us to rape us and make us suffer, just like them, Fal responded hysterically, because her recent event caused her a trauma, mistrusting anyone other than her friends. While she continued to cry, Luna and Air hugged her, leaving Vegeta angry. Vegeta scowled at her and then turned around. Then crawl and see who helps you, said Vegeta, this time walking away without looking back. He was not one of those in solidarity and much less extended his hand to anyone twice. Air and Luna worriedly watched as Vegeta walked out the door with no intention of returning, because now they were alone, but they couldn't abandon Fal to her fate, so between the two of them they carried her on their shoulders and began to walk out of that building. Grr. A growl was heard behind them. Seeing that it was a dog that looked at them furiously, the dog began to attack them, causing them to fall. Fal, unable to move, began to crawl, but the dog bit her shorts, tearing it and causing it to reveal itself. Her intimate zone was completely wide open, and the dog gets an erection looking at Fal's intimate zone. The dog quickly gets on top of Fal and is ready to mate with her. Because his owner had a sick fetish for seeing his dog raping young girls, and the dog was already used to doing it as something normal. Air and Luna got up in fear, looking for something to attack the dog and save their friend, but they stopped. They saw that the dog was being lifted by the neck by the same man who saved them earlier. They really are a nuisance, said Vegeta, snapping the dog's neck and letting go. The three girls were surprised to see him again, even when he left, with Luna wondering if he was a Tsunere. As she approached Fal to give her own sweatshirt and to cover up the hole the dog made in her shorts. Please sir, help us get Fal to a doctor, Air said in the form of a plea to Vegeta. Vegeta looked at the three of them seriously, seeing that Fal still had mistrust of him. I'll just escort you girls, carry her. I remember seeing a place that said it was a doctor's office, so I'll lead you there, now move, said Vegeta, proceeding to walk away, as Air and Luna carried Fal out of the building. Outside the building, Vegeta and the three girls headed towards the doctor as two people watched Vegeta from a rooftop. What do you think, Lubbock? Said a young girl with blonde hair to a young man with green hair and clothes of the same color, while both of them seriously watched Vegeta walk away with the girls from the roof. Lubbock watched seriously and thoughtfully as Vegeta walked away with the three girls. Leone, I think it would be better to inform Najenda, for his recent act. He does not seem to be from the Empire, but he is not from the Revolutionary Army either. He is also not someone who we should mess with without knowing anything about him at all. Lubbock, his face is very serious as he watched Vegeta walk away, and Leone remained serious too. It's strange, Leone spoke, confusing Lubbock, since Leone looked a little uneasy. Lubbock found her comment and her actions strange. What do you mean, Leone? Lubbock asked, looking for an answer to his doubt. Leone continued to watch Vegeta as she held her chin thoughtfully. Because of the animal instincts that my animal kingdom Taigu gives me, my instinct makes me feel as if that guy is the alpha male of a group of apes, Leone explained, leaving Lubbock surprised but even more confused than before. I don't know why. He's not a Taigu user. Leone was still talking and thinking, while Lubbock was still confused. It would be better to go back to the base and inform Temporal Chief Mine immediately. Najinda will be late in arriving from her meeting with the Revolutionary Army. She finished speaking Leonie with Lubbock nodding and them leaving. With Vegeta. Vegeta and the girls were at the doctor's office. Vegeta was very angry and the girls were distraught. But why won't you help us? Air said quite distressed. Apparently the doctor refused to help them. The doctor addressed those present there with a repulsive attitude. My office is for people of class, not for some small town country girls. And the money you have is not even enough to have a consultation, much less to treat your legs. Get out. The doctor refused to help them. Although, I will consider it if you all make me feel comfortable, said the doctor in a disgusting and lewd way, leaving the girls scared. Vegeta, seeing this, walked over to the doctor, grabbing him by the collar of his robe and lifting him off the ground. And what do you think you cure her in exchange for me to sparing your life? Vegeta told him in a very threatening manner, worrying the girls and making the nurses nervous. The doctor looked at him for a moment. Ha 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 ha. Doctor started laughing and confusing Vegeta. I am the nephew of Honest himself, the Prime Minister of the Empire. What do you think? So for your own good, let go of me, said the doctor, confusing Vegeta, because he had no idea who the hell that guy he was talking about was. Vegeta put him down, while the doctor showed him an arrogant and victorious smile. But when he hit the ground he received a blow to the stomach, making him vomit blood and fall to the ground. Followed by this, Vegeta kicked him in the face, knocking out most of his teeth, leaving the girls shocked, and the nurses were surprised and the doctor was scared. I don't give a shit who you're familiar with, I'm giving you an order, heal her or I'll kill you, said Vegeta to a very scared doctor, who only nodded very scared, while he called the nurses to help him attend to the girl. Hear me, insect. Vegeta caught the attention of the doctor, who just turned around nervously. You better not want to be smart, said Vegeta, hinting that if he hurt her, he would kill him. Luna and Air watched as Fal was taken to the operating room, waiting for the doctor to finish the operation. Vegeta decided to wait, since if he left they would probably do something to them. Luna saw him leaning against the wall with his eyes closed and his arms crossed. Air decided to approach him. Sorry, Air said, drawing Vegeta's attention, making him open his eyes and look at her. Thank you very much for coming back for us. Air thanked her with a bow, to which Vegeta just continued serious. Luna looked at him a little confused. He helped them, but it seemed as if he didn't care at all. She didn't know if he was a tsundere or a bitter man with a good heart. Out of curiosity she approached him. Sir, my name is Luna, this is my friend Air and the other one is our friend Fal. Luna introduced herself, also introducing her other two friends. Could you tell us your name? I would at least like to know the name of our savior, said Luna, asking for his name and making Air agreeing, wanting to know his name too. Vegeta looked at her without changing his serious expression. Vegeta. Vegeta gave his name as he closed his eyes again, letting them understand not to bother him anymore. Air and Luna looked at him with a smile, although they thought his name was a bit strange. His attitude was a bit rude, but by his actions they knew he was a good person. Thank you very much, Lord Vegeta, they both said, bowing, but Vegeta continued in the same position. After 3 hours of waiting, the doctor was leaving with Fal in a wheelchair, with the other two approaching and Vegeta looking seriously at the doctor. I managed to save her feet, there was no need to amputate them, but she might never walk again. The doctor was a little nervous about what Vegeta was going to do, while the girls looked at Fal in anguish. Now get out of here, keep the chair, said the doctor, throwing them from his office. Vegeta walked up to him, making him nervous. Don't tell me what to do, Bug, said Vegeta while raising his hand and making a ki blast, disintegrating the doctor to the surprise of the girls and the nurses. The girls were shocked at Vegeta's recent act. Why did you do it, Lord Vegeta? Luna asked, stunned at his action. Vegeta looked at the nurses with a serious look, making them nervous. I don't care, Vegeta said, turning around and heading for the exit. Now go home, Vegeta said, opening the door and walking out. The three of them were a little scared by his actions, but the reaction of the nurses caught their attention. One fell on her knees to the ground crying, not of sadness, but of happiness. Another approached the doctor's ashes, spitting on them. You deserve it, you fucking pig. A nurse said with a furious but relieved look. The girls, getting the idea that Vegeta realized that the doctor was abusing the nurses, taking advantage of his position. Seeing that Vegeta once again showed that he was, indeed, a bitter but good-hearted man. Another nurse approached the girls. Was that your father? The nurse asked curiously, causing the three girls to go into a surprised expression at her assumption. The three of them turned to the door where Vegeta came out, with a thoughtful face. Nope, Air replied. We were about to be tortured and raped. When he came and saved us, we only know his name, Vegeta. She finished explaining while the nurses came closer to hear her, although they all looked worried. If that is true, it is likely that you all are still in danger and now they will start looking for them, to sentence them to death and him too. Said a nurse, worrying the girls. The Empire is corrupt, probably the guys who had them had a connection to the Prime Minister. Another nurse caught their attention. Not only for that, this bastard, he was the minister's nephew. She spoke to another of the nurses. For her good, leave the capital, warn him to flee as well. General Esteth is in the capital and together with the Jeegers, they will probably send her to look for him. The nurses warned them. The three girls were scared by what the nurses had just said. Not only did they go through a traumatic experience, but it wasn't over yet, plus their savior was in danger too. Thank you very much for your kindness. Air said, bowing, to which the nurses just smiled. Luna, let's hurry up to Lord Vegeta. Air said, giving Luna to understand that they had to hurry, with the latter nodding and pushing Fall's chair, leaving the doctor's office. In a park, Vegeta was sitting on a bench, his face serious, but this time he was thoughtful. Why are they taking so long? The Supreme Kai has permission to travel between time and parallel worlds with his stupid rings. In Vegeta's thoughts as an idea crossed his mind. Surely Beerus is throwing his tantrums, refusing to give the permission to look for me. He thought, annoyed as he realized that it was already dawn, although for him it was not a problem since he could last a long time without sleeping, unlike Earthlings. There he is, Lord Vegeta. A voice snapped him out of his thoughts, calling his attention. It was Air approaching him, while Luna came behind her, pushing Fal in her chair. Vegeta just stared at them, though he was already pissed off. Air approached Vegeta worriedly, mistaking him for her countenance. Lord Vegeta, we have to leave the capital immediately. Air said to Vegeta's surprise. The nurses warned us, because of what happened, the Empire will hunt us down and sentence us to death, and you too, Sir Vegeta. Air warned him as Vegeta remained serious. Vegeta looked at them for a moment without showing concern or any reaction. Then go away, said Vegeta, leaving the three of them shocked. I don't run away from fights. If they want to come for me they can. Instead of bugging me, go home to your parents. Vegeta continued speaking. Noticing that none of them answered, the three lowered their heads. With all three heads lowered, Luna was the first to speak. We don't have a house here, but we don't have parents either. Luna revealed, with Vegeta looking serious. We lived in a town working in an inn. One day a very kind individual arrived, looking for working people. He recommended us to the capital to work, but now we know that what he did was sell us. Luna finished narrating, shedding tears, and the other two still crestfallen. Vegeta looked at them without showing any emotion. Then go back to your village, Vegeta said as he got up and walked away, leaving the three of them with shocked faces. In the streets of the capital, Vegeta was walking aimlessly, but it was obvious that he was followed. A couple of meters behind him, Luna, Air and Fal followed him. Stop following me, Vegeta yelled at them in annoyance, stopping and unnerving the three of them, as Vegeta turned and continued on his way. As he walked, Vegeta's forehead vein was swelling. A couple of meters behind him, Luna, Air and Fal was still following him. How long do you think you'll be following me? I told you to go back to your stupid village. Vegeta yelled at them in annoyance, stopping and unnerving the three of them, as Vegeta turned and continued on his way. As he walked, Vegeta almost turned Super Saiyan, because a couple of meters behind him, Luna, Air and Fal were still following him. This time Vegeta stopped and sighed. What do you want? I already told you I'm not a babysitter. The three of them stopped and the one who spoke was Fal. Sorry, Fal said to Vegeta's surprise. Sorry for insulting you before, thanks for saving me. Fal showed her gratitude for Vegeta's actions by bowing. Vegeta just looked at her for a moment. If that was all, go back to your village. Vegeta responded by turning around and leaving Fal confused, because she didn't know if Vegeta had accepted her apology or if he was still upset. We cannot, Air said. Our town is very far away and the ticket costs too much. Air gave her reasons why they did not leave. Vegeta glanced at them for a moment, then turned and kept walking. The three of them started to follow him, but this time Vegeta didn't bother, he let them follow him. As he walked, Vegeta saw a blackboard that caught his eye and stopped, with the three girls stopping to stare at him in confusion. The board had several wanted pamphlets on them, with a large reward on them, but Vegeta wasn't the type to look for hiding rats. However, he saw that there was a different pamphlet. It said that it was a fighting tournament in which the monetary reward was very good. In addition to that, there was a surprise prize. Vegeta took it from the board and read it with attention, seeing that it was happening today, in a couple of hours. Listen, insects. Vegeta caught the attention of the three of them, with the latter sweating a bead of sweat from the back of their necks at the way Vegeta addressed them. The only thing I need for you to leave me alone is to get you girls the money, right? Vegeta asked them, leaving them confused. I'll get you the money, after that you leave me alone. Vegeta told them that, and starting to walk towards the tournament area, surprising them for what he was going to do for them, the girls getting happy for what the Saiyan Prince had said. The three of them had a thought in their heads. He is bitter, but he has a good heart. Quote. Outside the Colosseum, Air, Luna, and Fal gazed in wonder at the size of the Colosseum where the tournament would take place, while Vegeta was arguing with the guy at the reception. How can I not participate, insect? Vegeta yelled furiously because the receptionist wouldn't let him sign up for the tournament. The clerk was flustered, seeing that Vegeta wasn't someone it was sensible to argue with, but as he was backed up by guards standing behind him, he steeled himself to respond. You need to pay the fee to join. If you don't have the money, you won't dream of it. Vegeta was very angry. He was ready to start punching them. But Air walked over to Vegeta, handing him a bag of coins. Use this, Mr. Vegeta. It was what we were going to pay for Fal's recovery with, but since it wasn't necessary, you better use it yourself, said Air as she handed Vegeta the money. Vegeta took the bag and took out the coins required for the registration, the rest he returned to Air. Take it, Vegeta said as he tossed the coins to the clerk, with the clerk moving as if he had lost his balance trying to catch them all. The receptionist counted them and seeing that it was the correct amount, he signed Vegeta up and pointed to the participant entrance and the spectator entrance, with Vegeta entering to the participants entrance and the girls heading to the spectator entrance. As Vegeta returned the bag with money, they had to pay admission. Meanwhile, an overweight man in clown makeup and attire watered his mouth as he watched the girls. Champ, not yet, wait until the end of the tournament, he said, a tanned man with white hair and a large axe-shaped scar on his face. Waiting like this is boring, Sayura, a young girl with a bunny ears headband and wearing a short dress answered. She revealing his name. Sayura just smiled at how energetic this girl was. Kazmina, my father the minister and the emperor will be watching this tournament. I plan to introduce you guys at the end, for a great entrance, Sayura said, making the now known as Kazmina get excited, because she liked to attract attention. Kazmina, the girl in the bunny outfit. Dorothea, a young girl almost like a child. Champ, the clown. Enshin, a thin man wearing a black suit that revealed his chest. Izu, a samurai. Today the capital will meet Wild Hunt, Sayura said as he stood in front of the five mentioned. Inside the Colosseum, in the arena, Vegeta stood with his arms crossed, seeing that the participants were around a large platform. But something caught his attention, in the stands, more specifically in an area that seemed to be only for certain important people. He saw a woman with long blue hair. He could tell by her ki that it was the strongest in the whole city. But nevertheless, her ki was very evil, and on the other side of that area, there was another better built one where there was a boy, who seemed to be from the royalty. At his side, was a fat and ugly guy, with a ki more evil than the woman's, but he didn't want to dwell on the matter. Right now, he just wanted to get the money to send the girls to their town and they will leave me in peace. Fighters. A young man with blonde hair was heard, calling their attention. Quote exclamation mark. This tournament will be a battle royale. The last one standing will be the winner. There are no limitations, just win and avoid leaving the platform. If you fall, you give up or die, you lose, feel honored. Today the Emperor himself is watching you in person. The public exclaimed cries of euphoria for the tournament. The Emperor looked happily at the joy in his kingdom, ignorant of what was happening outside. The woman with long blue hair looked at the fighters a bit bored. None of them seemed to be very strong. General Esdeath. The Emperor called the woman's attention, revealing her name. Maybe in this tournament she can find the boyfriend she's looking for. The Emperor addressed Esdeath, encouraging her to find something she was looking for. I hope so too, Your Highness. Esdeath responded with respect to the Emperor's words. The screams in the stands continued. Tatsumi, you can win. The young blonde, Leonie, along with Lubbock supported their friend from the stands. A young boy with brown hair and a coat of the same color, looked happy to see his cheerful friends supporting him. Lord Vegeta, you are the best. To the other side of Leonie, Air, Fal, and Luna stood, with Air giving Vegeta a shout of encouragement. While Leonie and Lubbock realized that it was the girls they saw at night next to the man with strange clothes and hair, realizing that man was in the arena with his arms crossed. The participants began to climb onto the platform, placing themselves around it, but this time on top. Begin. The Emperor shouted, starting the tournament. All the participants began to move in order to attack, without a fixed objective. Some drew their swords to attack, some axes and others with bare fists, starting a bloody battle. There were no rules, only win and avoid falling. Many died, other wounded shouted that they surrendered or left the platform alone. There were only 5 left. Esdeath watched in disappointment at how quickly the number of fighters fell in defeat. To her they were too weak. Tatsumi was one of those left on the platform. 3 men surrounded Tatsumi. They were partners and decided to attack as a team. Tatsumi remained serious about the situation. The 3 began to attack Tatsumi. The latter, seeing that the one who was attacking from the front had the lowest guard, made him fall by kicking him on his feet and then knocking him off the platform with a hard kick to the stomach. Esdeath saw this from her seat and felt a flutter in her chest. The second man, annoyed by what happened, launched himself with his sword. Seeing this, Tatsumi dodged it and with a quick movement he snatched the sword from him and with the handle hit him hard on the head, leaving him unconscious. Esdeath looked at this and began to blush. The third man looked at Tatsumi and threw his 2 axes at him. Tatsumi with his sword repelled both axes and then proceeded to throw his sword at him, to distract him, and then kicking him out of the arena. Tatsumi with a confused face saw what happened, but immediately put on a happy smile. Esdeath, after seeing that smile, she felt her whole body tremble, as if she had found the love of her life. I win. Tatsumi shouted happily for believing that he had won. A young man with black hair and a blue coat named Wave, who was refereeing at the side of the platform, addressed him. No, not yet, said the young man with black hair, pointing out that there was still someone left. Tatsumi looked in the indicated direction and saw a guy standing with his arms crossed and a serious face. In the area where Esdeath was, they looked at Vegeta in confusion. He didn't move, said a young woman with red eyes, short black hair and black clothes like a schoolgirl, drawing the attention of Esdeath and those around her. Throughout the fight he stood idly by. Esdeath looked at the young woman for a moment, then turned back to Vegeta. He's not worth my time, Esdeath thought, looking at Vegeta, and that same thing Vegeta had thought about Tatsumi. Let's see what happens, Esdeath said, with her and the others paying attention to his movements. Esdeath wanted to see how the guy in strange clothes performed and also how the young man she seemed to have fallen in love with faced the situation. In the stands, there was a silence that was created by the confusion. Leonie and Lubbock looked seriously at Vegeta, but to mislead they continued to support their friend Tatsumi, as if they were 2 more city dwellers. Tatsumi, beat that weakling so you can take your sister to eat, Leonie yelled, drawing the attention of everyone. Vegeta was a little angry that she called him a weakling, and Esdeath, hearing the name of the boy she was attracted to and seeing that she called him brother, getting the idea that she was. Esdeath didn't react to her comment, but deep down she was really upset, seeing that Leonie, a girl, was cheering him on. Tatsumi was happy and on guard to attack Vegeta. The girls glared at Leonie, who sat up smiling. Lord Vegeta, Tear that worthless virgin to pieces. Air shouted in annoyance, responding to Leonie's comment, again drawing the attention of some viewers. Death saw that apparently that girl and those who were with her were relatives or acquaintances of that subject, and hearing his name, Tatsumi had a look of humiliation upon hearing that comment, while Vegeta thought about how annoying she was. In the Emperor's exclusive area, someone was looking at the girls while saliva dripped from his mouth. Those girls looked delicious, the minister thought as he saw them in the stands. Meanwhile, the Emperor looked anxiously at the platform, waiting for the fight to start, but something occurred to him. General Death, what do you think of the two of them to be your boyfriends? The Emperor asked, drawing Death's attention. Death looked at the two remaining fighters. She felt attracted to Tatsumi, but if he lost, it would mean that he wasn't worthy of her love. And she still didn't know anything about Vegeta. Although she didn't feel attracted to him, she wasn't interested in anyone weaker than her. Perhaps, Your Highness, Death replied, leaving the Emperor thoughtful, but looking back at the platform. On the platform, Tatsumi was watching Vegeta. He was still in the same posture, with Tatsumi thinking that he was making fun of him. Confident, Tatsumi looking at him with his guard down, he launched himself to start attacking him, but Vegeta didn't care. He just waited for him to get closer so he can knock him out. Get the money and get rid of the girls. Tatsumi, a meter from landing a blow, unconsciously stepped back, much to the confusion of the onlookers and himself. What? Why did I back down? Tatsumi thought as he realized his own action. Leonie and Lubbock looked at Vegeta very seriously. They realized what had happened. In the stands, Death and the black-haired girl showed a serious face, while the others were confused. That boy is clever, the black-haired girl said. One of the people who was confused, a girl with brown hair, a metallic arm and a military uniform, was struck by her comment. What do you mean, Karone? She asked the girl, confused, revealing her name. Death with a serious facial expression stepped forward to reply. Didn't you notice, Saryu? That guy named Vegeta was going to knock him out, and by fighting instinct, the boy named Tatsumi was able to react. Death replied, explaining what had happened there. He is very skilled. If he wins, he will be mine. Death thought, blushing, looking at Tatsumi. Vegeta realized that the boy did indeed know how to fight. He was able to react before my attack. If he had more power, maybe he would be a worthy opponent, but he is nothing more than an insect. Vegeta thought, seeing that the boy was still in his guard and looked very careful, but since Vegeta was already bored, he changed his pose with his arms crossed and pointed with the palm of his hand towards Tatsumi, with the latter noticing his action and being on guard for not knowing what was going to happen. I'm bored, get out of my sight, insect, said Vegeta. Much to Tatsumi's surprise at his words, Vegeta, using his ki, created a very strong gust of wind that Tatsumi couldn't withstand and was thrown off the platform, giving Vegeta the victory. Instead of there being shouts of joy for Vegeta's victory, there was total silence. Everyone was confused by what happened there. The guy named Vegeta just raised his hand and the boy named Tatsumi flew away. Death looked at Tatsumi's defeat in disappointment. He turned out to be a weakling in the end. There's no way I could relate to someone like that. Death thought, looking at Tatsumi on the ground and then looking at Vegeta. Yes, there is no one who can defeat Lord Vegeta. A cry of happiness for Vegeta's victory was heard, everyone realizing that it was the same girl who supported him at the beginning. Following her shout, the spectators started screaming with excitement. Vegeta was indifferent to all that. He just wanted to get the reward to get away from those girls. The winner, Vegeta, the young blonde yelled, declaring him the winner. After the winner was declared, Vegeta saw that the long blue-haired woman was making her way towards him. General Death, she will present the award to you personally, you should be proud. The wave told him, with Vegeta still indifferent. Death walked up to Vegeta, looking at him with a smile. Congratulations on your victory, Death said as she slipped her hand into her cleavage, revealing parts of her breasts. Vegeta had no desire for lust. It was a silly way of putting things away. Here is your reward, Death said as she took out a necklace with a chain that she placed around Vegeta's neck. Much to Vegeta's surprise and the surprise of some who managed to see this. Now you belong to me, Death said, as she turned around and started to walk, but, She didn't move forward. The chain was stretched and Esdeath felt like she was trying to pull a mountain, turning to see Vegeta in the same position without flinching. Vegeta was really upset by Esdeath's actions. With his hands he took the necklace and broke it, surprising Esdeath. "Stop your stupid games and give me the damn reward," said Vegeta in a threatening and very annoyed manner, to the surprise of Esdeath and her subordinates for the way he spoke to her. Esdeath looked at him in surprise. No one had ever spoken to her like that. "Your reward will be serving me as a member of the Jeeters," Esdeath said, much to Vegeta's surprise at the way she addressed him, who only got more annoyed at wasting his time there. "Stop being stupid, woman. You are really stupid if you think I will serve you," said Vegeta, looking annoyed at Esdeath, who was surprised by the way Vegeta kept talking to her. "I won't waste my time on this nonsense anymore, I'm out." Vegeta then turned around and started to leave. Esdeath, somewhat confused and very surprised. This guy was the first to speak to him in such an arrogant way. Esdeath was annoyed at being ignored and treated without the respect she was used to. So as Vegeta retreated, she created a wall of ice in front of him, preventing his advance. Vegeta didn't even turn to look at her. "By refusing to be my lackey, you are against the Empire and therefore you will be my enemy." Esdeath spoke to Vegeta in an authoritative manner while Vegeta was still in the same position. "Do you want the monetary reward? By working for me, you will have a lot of money and your daughters will be able to live without worries." Esdeath was explaining the benefits of working for her to Vegeta and getting the wrong idea about his relationship with the girls. Vegeta didn't say anything. He was still in the same position but lowering his arms. Since he had them crossed, Esdeath thought she had convinced him, but the Saiyan Prince's next action stunned her. Vegeta raised his right arm and punched the thick wall of ice, destroying it. "As if I really needed a useless wimp like you," Vegeta said without looking at her, and kept walking. Esdeath was angry by his offensive comment. She was going to call him out, when a scream was heard. "Here comes a new challenge." They all heard a voice, familiar only to one of the spectators, the minister. 5 people appeared on the platform surrounding Vegeta and Esdeath, while the Jeeters stood around Esdeath as if protecting her, although she didn't need it, while one appeared in front of Minister Honest and Emperor Makoto, making their guards stand up ready to attack. "It's been a while, Your Highness, Father." Sayura bowed to both of them, showing his respect. The Emperor and the Minister immediately realized who it was. The Emperor raised his hand, signaling to his guards that he was all right, with them lowering their guard. "Oh, Sayura, it's been a while since you went on a trip to other countries. How was it?" the Emperor asked, excited to see the son of his Prime Minister. Sayura was still bowing in respect to the Emperor. "Wonderfully. I got to know many unknown customs and places that I never imagined existed," Sayura said, exciting the Emperor. "Sayura, who are those guys?" The minister called his attention to those who had just appeared on the platform. Sayura raised his head, looking at his father. "They are very powerful warriors that I recruited. I returned to the Empire with them because I want to form my own patrol, Wild Hunt. Since I found out that the Jeeters are failing to find and destroy Night Raid, they even lost Dr. Stylish," Sayura said, making the Emperor and the minister surprised at what he wanted to do. The minister looked at him for a moment and then turned to where his son's lackeys were. "I see you gave Tegus to 4 of them. Okay. If they beat General Esdeath's tournament champion, I'll let you do your patrol." The minister gave Sayura permission to create Wild Hunt if he fulfilled the condition. "General Esdeath, since your champion refused to serve the Empire, Vegeta have been sentenced to death for treason," he yelled, the Honest getting everyone's attention in the arena, worrying Luna, Fal and Air. "The only way to save yourself is to defeat Wild Hunt," the minister kept shouting, although from a distance the lie was noticeable. Esdeath stared at the minister for a few seconds, but accepted his words. "It's a shame, you could have been someone by my side." Esdeath addressed Vegeta as he remained serious and calm about the situation he was in. The Emperor stood up and addressed Vegeta. "It will be your sentence for refusing to serve the Empire and becoming its enemy. Let this lesson serve all," the little Emperor said with authority towards Vegeta and the spectators. Annoyed Vegeta looked at the Emperor. "No one tells me what to do, you stupid brat, let alone a useless one like you." Vegeta answered, angry at the way that boy playing the Emperor addressed him. The entire Colosseum fell into a deathly silence. For the first time someone insulted the Emperor. Many saw him as someone stupid, others as someone worthy of respect, because it was about time someone did. The Emperor stepped back, looked Vegeta in the eye and felt a great fear that made him fall. The minister, seeing this, turned to Vegeta. "You insolent! You will receive the worst punishment for addressing the Emperor like that." He yelled, honest at the disrespect shown by Vegeta. Vegeta was already fed up with everything in that place. "Shut your stupid mouth, you filthy pig. If the stupid insect can't defend himself, just let him step down from the throne." Vegeta replied, still with insults, while everyone was still stunned to see his attitude against the minister that everyone feared. While Esdeath looked at Vegeta, she agreed with his words. It seemed that Vegeta shared her ideals. The minister was completely furious. "Kill the daughters of that worm." Honest yelled, quite angry, giving the order to kill the girls that came with him, causing them to be completely scared by the situation they got into. Leone and Lubbock had no intention of helping, they had to be hidden. One of the 5 that were surrounding Vegeta, the clown, moved at a great speed even for his size and weight, putting himself in front of Air, Luna and Fal, who looked at him very scared. "Don't worry, angels, I'll send you to heaven," the clown said with a sinister smile and drooling. He was going to take them to rape them first before killing them, but someone appeared between him and the girls. Tatsumi had his sword drawn, ready to defend them. Esdeath saw the boy she was attracted to recovered and protecting someone he didn't even know, which seemed very silly to her, since she had the idea that the weak should die. "Stay there, I will not allow you to harm them," Tatsumi said, to the surprise of her and the girls' friends when they saw that a stranger was helping them. "Another traitor, execute him," the minister shouted when he saw Tatsumi helping those whom he ordered to be killed. With Leone and Lubbock, with no choice, they got up to help his friend. They were about to even release their Tegus, but something stopped them. Someone appeared in front of everyone, taking the clown by the head and lifting him up while he floated. To everyone's surprise, it was Vegeta and he could fly. "You disgusting pig, go away," said Vegeta, throwing the clown into the sky. Vegeta raised his hand and a white sphere appeared in it. Big Bang attack! A scream echoed throughout the Colosseum, the key sphere in Vegeta's hand shooting skyward in the direction he sent the clown. When it hit the clown, the key sphere exploded, completely disintegrating the clown and causing a huge explosion in the sky, causing a tremor in the earth and a huge gust of wind that the entire capital and its outskirts could see. Absolutely surprising everyone who saw it. The sky shone with great splendor. Caused by the explosion, all the spectators of the Colosseum were completely silent, stunned by what was witnessed. They never expected to see something like this in their lives. The minister and the emperor were scared to death. Wild Hunt's mouths were open in surprise. Even though they had him surrounded, they didn't notice when he moved to attack his partner, just like the Jeters. Esdeath stared up at the sky with a stunned, incredulous expression at what her eyes saw. That explosion was more than enough to destroy the capital and its surroundings. Who the hell is this guy? Where did he come from? He doesn't even look exhausted from what he just did. Esdeath thought as her body trembled. Not from emotion, it was something else, something she couldn't remember ever feeling, fear. As he continued to float in air, Vegeta looked seriously at Luna, Air, and Fal, with them understanding that with Vegeta close by, they would be safe. Vegeta then turned his gaze to Tatsumi and the other 2 he didn't know. "Stay out of things you don't care about," Vegeta said, snapping the 3 of them out of shock, they still looking at Vegeta in surprise. Vegeta descended to where Wild Hunt was. While Air, Fal and Luna looked at him thoughtfully. "The power of a god," Fal said out loud, calling the attention of the 3 present who were Tatsumi and his 2 friends, confusing them by that word. Vegeta now descends down from the air. Wild Hunt still did not remove their expressions of surprise. "I give up," Enchen said. "I'm not going to die for this, I'm leaving." Enchen continued turning and walking to leave. Vegeta let him go. He wasn't interested in cowards, so he just focused on the ones who stayed. Suddenly Enchen made a surprise attack on Vegeta with his Taigu, creating lightsabers that he thought seemed to have cut Vegeta. Enchen looked at Vegeta with a sadistic smile. "Haha, you may be very powerful, but at the end of the day you are still a human." Enshin said, thinking that he had split him in two. Vegeta turned his face to see him without any scratch by what Enshin did. Leaving him in shock, Vegeta appeared in front of him with his hand pointing at him. "Don't compare me to you guys, you're just bugs," said Vegeta, creating a ki blast that pulverized Enshin. The spectators were still stunned by the abilities that Vegeta had and the ease with which he fought his opponents. "Ah!" Kazmina shouted with her Taigu, a microphone that drastically amplified her voice, creating sound waves that were directed at Vegeta, with Vegeta seeing that it was a somewhat unique ability, but Vegeta immediately responded with his own shout, causing his ki to counter. As the sound waves made by Kazmina, and the ki shout that Vegeta expelled created a very strong gust of air that sent Kazmina flying, leaving her injured, though not unconscious. Izu appeared behind Vegeta to cut his neck with his katana, but Vegeta, without looking at him, stopped the edge of his sword with a single finger. "This guy goes beyond what Kaozetsu and I have achieved," Izu thought, seeing that Vegeta was too strong to stop his sword like that, so he stepped back. "Hey, I'll give you my sword," Izu told Vegeta. "Kaozetsu asks me to feed her, but you are stronger and more skilled than me, so you feed her," Izu said, throwing his sword at Vegeta, with Vegeta catching it. Vegeta looked at the sword for a moment, realizing that it was nothing more than a simple sword and everything he said was the product of madness, so clenching his fist he broke the katana to Izu's surprise. "I don't need any stupid toy swords," Vegeta responded to Izu's request. With Izu getting angry at Vegeta for destroying his sword, he attacked him with a bare fist, with Vegeta standing in the same place while he dodged his blows. Bored, Vegeta placed both of his hands on Izu's chest and released a ki blast that disintegrated him. And then Vegeta turned to look at the remaining wild hunt. "Hey hey hey," Dorothea said, putting her hands in front of him with a nervous face. "You wouldn't hurt a girl, would you?" Dorothea said, taking steps back frightened. Vegeta saw that her ki was evil, but with him getting so much bored, Vegeta no longer cared so much about finishing off his opponents. "Get out of my sight, if you try anything stupid, you know what will happen," Vegeta ordered, with Dorothea nodding and running to where Kazmina was wounded. Despite the short time, those two had made a good friendship. As she was about to leave, Sayura appeared next to them. "Traitors," Sayura said, and was about to cut both of them with a knife, but Vegeta appeared next to him holding his hand very tightly. Crack! Vegeta broke his hand, causing Sayura to drop the knife and yelp in pain. "And now get the hell out of here!" Annoyed shout of Sayura causing Vegeta and Kazmina and Dorothea to disappear, to the surprise of Luna, Aaron Fal and the others present. "Lol." Sayura laughed madly as he turned to see the three of them and appeared next to them instantly. "We are going to have fun," Sayura said, looking at them with a sinister smile, making them nervous and very scared. Without hesitation, Tatsumi attacked Sayura with it, with Sayura barely dodging the attack, as he didn't see it coming. "You will not touch them," Tatsumi said in a very serious manner as he looked at Sayura. In an island, Vegeta was on the beach, confused as to how he got there, with Dorothea and Kazmina behind him also confused. They were teleported along with him, but Vegeta didn't care about them. Vegeta concentrated on looking for the direction in which those three girls' ki were. After finding their ki, Vegeta realized that the guy with the scar was next to those three girls. And then Vegeta thought, if I go in base state it will take me about 5 minutes to reach them. And in Super Saiyan it will take about 1 minute. Damn it, that 1 minute is still too long, I've got no choice, I'd better hurry up, Vegeta thought, and then concentrating and transforming. To the surprise of Kazmina and Dorothea, Vegeta changed his appearance. He looked younger, his hair was red and it seemed as if he was skinnier. Suddenly, in a sonic boom, Vegeta disappeared from their sight, and leaving behind a sandstorm and both of them, still in shock by what had happened. In the Colosseum, the city dwellers left so as not to be victims of the crossfire. Sayura laughed as the minister gave the order to everyone to finish off Tatsumi and his friends and the girls who were with Vegeta. They were surrounded, they had no escape. Sayura raised his hand holding a knife to cut Fal, and with her unable to move from fear, in addition to her broken legs, she closed her eyes waiting for the inevitable to happen. But nothing had happened, so she opened her eyes slowly to see. Her face showed an expression of total surprise, just like those surrounding them before mentioned. As Vegeta was holding Sayura's hand, but this time he had a different appearance. His hair was red, he was skinnier and he looked younger. Esdeath looked at Vegeta in astonishment. Once again he had shown abilities that she never thought to witness in her life. And Sayura was stunned, with many questions in his mind. I sent you to an island on the other side of the world, how the hell did you get here so fast? You answer me now, trash. Sayura questions Vegeta, stunned and annoyed. Vegeta was annoyed by the way he addressed him, but he didn't answer his question. With the other hand, he pointed at him, causing him to be scared. Sayura thinking about what would happen to him if he tried to free himself from Vegeta's grasp, so he didn't. Don't be so cocky, bug, said Vegeta seriously. Hawkeye. Vegeta uttered a word, the technique of the gods of destruction, causing Sayura to cry out in agony as he slowly disappeared until there was nothing left. Those present there saw Vegeta with great terror. He had made someone completely disappear with just a word. The soldiers immediately surrendered in fear. They did not want to face him. Esdeath and the Jeegers could not move in fear either. What was that? What is that appearance? Esdeath thought. And then Vegeta returned to his base form looking down at himself. If Kakarot could do it, so could I. He said that out loud, confusing those who heard him. Vegeta then turned to see two soldiers holding Air and Luna. Seeing that Vegeta saw them, they immediately released both of them, with them immediately standing next to Vegeta. The Emperor and the Minister watched Vegeta with great terror at his actions. The Minister didn't give a shit for what happened to his son, however, he couldn't bear the fact that someone was humiliating them. Is His Majesty all right? A blonde man in armor snapped the Emperor out of his shock, realizing who it was. Great General Budo, said the Emperor, happy to see his most powerful guard with him. I'm fine, but that guy over there is scary. He doesn't seem to respect my authority or any other. Emperor finished explaining to Budo, with Budo looking at the strange guy. General Budo, you and General Esdeath are the strongest in the Empire. Team up with her and defeat him. The Emperor ordered. Budo's only reason for living is to protect the Emperor at all costs. As you order, Budo said, and then appear next to Esdeath and the others, with them looking at him, some with respect, others with fear. They knew who he was. But Vegeta just looked at him indifferently, but he knew immediately that he was stronger than the blue-haired woman. I don't understand how someone like him could defeat you all. You all better leave or you will receive my wrath after I finished with him. Budo ordered them, with the soldiers nodding. General Esdeath, the Emperor has ordered me to team up with you to defeat him. He must be very strong that even you couldn't defeat him. Budo caught her attention, and with Esdeath looking seriously at him. Well, I haven't had a chance to fight him, but it's true that he's very strong. He defeated so many enemies and he continues as if nothing had happened. Esdeath said, turning to Vegeta, who ignored them. Vegeta got tired of being there. And when Esdeath and Budo finally finished talking and they turned to see Vegeta. Vegeta was heading towards the exit with the three girls. And Tatsumi and the other two had already left, leaving Budo and Esdeath stunned by that act. Wrath of the Lightning God. Adramelech. Budo was angry, as he released the Taigu from him. Ray Canyon. He then created a sphere of lightning that he threw at Vegeta without caring that he was accompanied by those three girls. Vegeta looked at this and was going to deflect the sphere skyward, but some beings appeared in the technique's path, with someone receiving it. Vegeta, due to his reflexes, was able to cover the three girls with an energy field so that the explosion would not hurt them, but at the same time he looked very nervous, something that seemed strange to Luna, Air and Fal for his act, since they never saw him nervous. Before the explosion dissipated by itself, it was dissipated by a strong current of air that made everyone go back and fall. The earth began to shake in a way as if the world was going to destroy. Those who quickly recovered from the fall, they saw that where the Budo technique broke out there were four beings. A tall man with a staff and his skin was bluish as he stood with a calm face. A short man also with his bluish skin with a face that expressed terror. A man with orange clothes and disheveled hair that showed a nervous face as he saw a strange being similar in appearance to that of a purple humanoid cat, which gave off a purple aura. The tremor did not stop. The whole city and the whole world were in panic when they felt the tremor, wondering with fear what was happening. Outside the Colosseum, Tatsumi, Leone, and Lubbock were shaking from the tremor. With them there were 2 other girls who met them on the street, a girl with pink hair and eyes of the same color, and a girl with black hair, red eyes, and a katana and schoolgirl clothes. Very similar to Corone. Inside the Colosseum, everyone looked terrified at the strange being. Who was it? Who dared to attack the god of destruction? The strange being asked, annoyed, revealing his identity, causing everyone who heard to be completely stunned at his words. A god was in front of them. Fal, Air and Luna did not believe it. Vegeta said he had the power of a god, but now they had one in front of them. A god, my ass, Saryu yelled. Come on, Koro. Saryu launched an attack together with a strange dog, she then exchanging her metal arm for a gun which she began to fire. We don't need gods, we will do our own justice. And we will punish the sinner. Eat that purple cat, let's go hunting. Saryu ordered Koro, who was a Taigu and turned into a giant dog and looked like he was going to eat the one who claimed to be a god. Something strange happened. Saryu and Koro couldn't move. If there is one thing I do not tolerate, it is mortals who do not show me proper respect, said the god of destruction, raising his hand and pointing it at Saryu and Koro. Hakai. The god of destruction spoke the same word they had previously heard from Vegeta, as Koro disappeared and Saryu gave a cry of agony as she also disappeared. A god of destruction, the minister thought after seeing the demonstration of the god's power. I can use this to finish off that bastard. The minister came up with a plan to finish off Vegeta. It was him, the guy with gray clothes and straight hair. The minister yelled, accusing Vegeta, with Vegeta looking annoyed. The god turned around looking where the fat guy was pointing, recognizing the accused. So you already have the guts to challenge me, huh, Vegeta? Said the god, surprising everyone that he knew Vegeta, while the tremor ceased. Vegeta got very nervous seeing that the god was buying it. It was an accident, Lord Beerus. Vegeta replied nervously and bowing, before the now known as Beerus. The thing is, the attack was aimed at me when you and the others suddenly appeared. Vegeta continued, this time explaining how he was attacked, while everyone watched as the arrogant and powerful Vegeta was behaving like a scared kitten in front of another cat. The man with tousled hair and orange robes cocked his head in confusion. Were you in a fight, Vegeta? The tousled-haired guy asked, interrupting, to which Beerus and Vegeta got annoyed. Beerus got angry again. Don't interrupt me, Goku. Beerus yelled angrily, with Goku laughing nervously. Come on, Lord Beerus, don't bother with Vegeta. If Supreme Kai and Whis hadn't teleported us to this part, right now nothing would have happened. Goku defended Vegeta, blaming the short guy and the tall guy, with both getting upset. Vegeta, annoyed, looked at Goku. Shut up, Kakarot, I don't need you to defend me. Vegeta yelled, very annoyed at Goku's words, causing Goku to almost fall to the ground. As the listeners remembered Vegeta mentioning that name earlier, Whis caught the attention of the 3 of them. Okay, enough of the fighting. Now that we found Vegeta, we have to go back. Remember that the time Lord Zeno gave us is limited. Whis told him, emphasizing that they had a time limit, with Vegeta somewhat surprised by Whis' comment. Beerus was slightly annoyed that now it was his servant who was interrupting him. There is still time. These worms must learn to respect a god. You don't raise your hand to a god and you don't lie to him. Beerus said this in a very serious way, looking at the Prime Minister, with him getting scared. The minister was going to start running, but he couldn't. It was as if he was being held, but nothing did. Beerus snapped his fingers and the minister turned to ashes in front of the emperor, leaving him scared by what he saw up close. Budo saw that his emperor was in danger, and because of his code of honor and defending the emperor. I was the one who attacked the guy named Vegeta, and therefore the one who launched the attack that pissed you off was me, Lord God. Budo said, getting Beerus' attention. Please, I beg you not to hurt the emperor. If anyone should suffer that punishment, it will be me. Budo said as death, and the emperor looked at Budo for his early surrender, although he did it mostly for the emperor's sake. Beerus saw him and noted that he was a loyal warrior to whom he served. Hey Lord Beerus, why don't you forgive him? It was an accident after all, said Goku, calling everyone's attention for the innocence that he possessed. Beerus got upset again. Don't interrupt me, Beerus yelled at Goku, with Goku getting nervous. You, Beerus said, addressing Budo. There won't be another chance. He told him with Budo bowing at the mercy shown by the destroyer god and heading to where the emperor was. While Goku looked at the scene smiling, a smile that did not go unnoticed by Esdeath, who seemed very tender. The emperor gave the order not to attack and kneel before Beerus, with everyone obeying. Beerus looked away from him to the others. "All right, let's go now," Beerus said, to the surprise of Luna, Air and Fal. Their savior Vegeta was already leaving. "Please wait." Luna caught Beerus' attention. "You can't take Lord Vegeta. He promised to help us get back to our village and keep us safe from the bad guys," Luna said, to the surprise of those present. Goku had a stunned face at her words. "Vegeta, did he promise to take care of them?" Goku said as he didn't change his expression. Vegeta looked at her annoyed. "I didn't promise you any of that, midget. I just told you I'd get them the money, so you leave me alone," Vegeta answered them angrily, making them sad. Goku noted the reaction of the three. "Hey Vegeta, if you promised them, keep them," Goku scolded Vegeta, making him angrier, and the three were surprised to see that this Kakarot was very kind. Whis looked at them with a somewhat surprised face. "Vegeta, what exactly did you do for them to make them grow so fond of you?" Whis asked curiously. Vegeta was going to reply, but Fal stepped forward. "We don't have parents, and we were sold to some bastards who wanted to rape us and torture us to death, but Lord Vegeta saved us," Fal replied, touching herself and looking at her legs, completely sad. The Supreme Kai looked at them with a shocked face. After all, he was a god who showed affection for mortals. And he was analyzing the surroundings. He could feel that this place was full of evil Ki, while the rest had a serious face and with Goku a confused face. "Hey, what is rape?" Goku asked, confused, and those who heard this question had a poker face. Vegeta replied, annoyed, "Kakarot, you really are a complete idiot. It's better that you don't know. Explaining it to you would be a hassle." Vegeta responded, with Goku looking at him confused and accepting that they wouldn't explain. The Supreme Kai looked at the Emperor and headed towards him. "As guardian of the universe, I cannot tolerate this kind of behavior in mortals," said Shin, annoyed, turning to the Emperor, with whom they were close, and listened surprised. They not only had the god of destruction in front of them, but also the guardian of the universe. "I will give you just one chance to change your empire to a better path, otherwise Lord Beerus will take it upon himself to destroy them along with this planet." Shin threatened them with an annoyed face, to which the frightened Emperor quickly nodded as the Supreme Kai withdrew with the others. Death was kneeling at the Emperor's command, but it was also obvious that something was wrong with her. "The god of destruction, guardian of the universe, and who the hell are you, Vegeta?" Death thought in astonishment as she looked at them. "My sadistic side wants to fight against that god of destruction, but something prevents me. I can't believe it. I can't believe that I feel fear. Fear is for the weak." Death continued with her thoughts without being able to move and without power. Then she looked at them, but one look into Beerus's eyes chilled her to the bone. Noticing that, Beerus flashed her an arrogant smile. Goku noticed that the blue-haired woman was shaking in fear as she looked at them. Then Goku instantly appeared in front of her. "Hey, are you okay?" Goku asked the woman, but Death was surprised to see that, just like Vegeta, this guy called Goku, or Kakarot, had monstrous speed. "By the way, I'm Son Goku, but just tell me Goku." Goku introduced himself with his typical smile and charisma. Seeing that smile, Death shuddered more than when she saw Tatsumi. "I know that Lord Beerus can be very scary, but he is also someone who's kind when he is not provoked, so don't be afraid." Death watched as Goku encouraged and comforted her, causing her to blush. Death looked at Goku's innocence, and reaching her hands into her breasts, she pulled out another chain and put it on Goku, much to everyone's surprise. "I like you. You will be mine. We will get married and have many strong children," Death said to Goku, with everyone surprised by those words and her actions. Goku gave her a confused look and smiled, making Death thinking he agreed. But Goku snapped the neck chain that she put onto his neck to her surprise. "I'm sorry, I'm married with 2 children and have a granddaughter," Goku stated, much to Death's surprise. Death looked at Goku, stunned by his words. "Then I will go with you and kill your wife so that you are only mine," Death said with a tender and loving smile to Goku's surprise. while Esdeath was smiling innocently and looking at Goku. "Do not even think about it," said Goku, very annoyed, with a serious and threatening face and voice that made Esdeath feel the same way as with Beerus. "I can see that there is a horrifying evil within you, but I can also see that there is a bit of goodness in you. You better develop that goodness more, because I am the enemy of evil, and if I find you doing evil, I will have no mercy," Goku said, and still very seriously, as he turned around and went back to the gods, leaving Esdeath scared and thoughtful about her words. Goku went back to where the gods were, with Beerus angry. "This is a real nuisance," Beerus said angrily. "Vegeta, because of you Lord Zeno is upset with me. What punishment should I give you for making me go through this?" Beerus said angry, because of what was happening, with Vegeta nervous and Goku just watching. "Lord Zeno? Did the god of destruction refer to someone as Lord?" Air wondered, mentally confused when she noticed Beerus's speech. Like everyone who heard him, there was a being superior to the god of destruction. "Don't be angry Lord Beerus, anyway I don't think Zen-chan is going to retaliate against you, after all I was the one who asked his permission," said Goku. While Beerus's forehead a vein appeared and the earth began to shake again. Beerus turned so red that he exploded with anger, expelling some ki. "Idiot, stop referring to Lord Zeno like that," Beerus yelled, angry at Goku's way of being. While Goku was nervous, more part of the Colosseum was destroyed by the scream, but Luna, Air and Fal did not fly away. Whis protected them. And them surprised by Whis' actions. "Thank you Lord God." Fal, Luna and Air showing their respect to Whis with a bow. Whis, hearing those words, couldn't help but laugh. "Oh ho ho ho." Whis laughed amusedly and confusing the three of them. "I am not a god, I am the humble servant of Lord Beerus," Whis declared to their surprise. Whis then watched them for a moment and noticed that Fal was not born as an handicapped. "I see, your feet were broken before Vegeta saved you," Whis said, with Fal being surprised at his perceptiveness and she ducking her head, but she lifted her head up as Whis' staff glowed for a moment. "You can get up now," Whis spoke to Fal with a smile. Fal looked at Whis strangely, but trying to make an effort she got up, realizing that it was not necessary to make an effort. She could stand up as if nothing had happened to her. Fal couldn't help but smile and cry with happiness as her friends cheered for her too. Thanks," Fal said, crying and suddenly hugging Whis to his surprise, and with Goku and the Supreme Kai showing her a smile, while Vegeta and Beerus remained indifferent to her, but both also had some happy feeling for her. Fal broke away from Whis and then started kicking the air. "Air, Luna, I promise you that I will get stronger, so that no one will hurt us again," Fal said, fully energetic, with Goku laughing. He liked all the fighting people. "Well, since that little girl is better, I think we have to go. It won't be a good idea to bother the king of all anymore," said Vegeta, indifferent to what was happening, with everyone showing an astonished face. Apart from the god of destruction and the guardian of the universe, there was someone superior to them, but also leaving Fal, Air and Luna sad. Seeing that the gods and Vegeta were gathering to leave, Luna spoke to him. "So you will leave without keeping your promise, Lord Vegeta," Luna said, with Vegeta getting upset. "That I didn't promise you anything, midget," Vegeta yelled, leaving Luna, Air and Fal sad. They believed that Vegeta did care about them because of his actions towards them. Beerus was already upset, but something occurred to him when he saw that Vegeta couldn't stand them. "Whis." Beerus caught the attention of his servant. "We'll take these three," Beerus said, to the surprise of everyone and especially the girls and Vegeta. "But why, Lord Beerus?" Goku asked, confused by his words. Beerus flashed an evil smile that gave Vegeta a bad feeling. "I told you that you would have a punishment for causing me so much trouble, so your punishment will be to adopt and take care of them, as you promised," Beerus said, leaving Vegeta stunned. And Air, Luna and Fal shocked by the surprise of the Destroyer God's words, while Goku, Whis and the Supreme Kai looked at them happily with a smile. Vegeta was nervous seeing that Beerus gave him an unexpected punishment. He expected a harder training, not babysitting them. Vegeta wanted to argue, but being still far below Beerus, he just resigned himself. Without realizing it, a portal appeared in front of them. "Okay, time to go," Whis said, who opened the portal. With everyone nodding, though Vegeta reluctantly left. Shin paused for a moment to look at the Emperor. You have 1 year to accomplish the goal I just gave you," said the Supreme Kai, making the Emperor get scared and kneel down, nodding, to later disappear with the portal closing. All the spectators were kneeling while the gods passed through the portal and withdrew. After the portal was closed, they all stood up and breathed a sigh of relief. "I never thought I would find myself in the presence of true gods," the Emperor said while he still looked scared. "Budo, we must comply with the order of the Guardian of the Universe if we do not want to be destroyed." Budo looked at the Emperor seriously. "Your Highness, my job is to serve you and keep you safe, so I'll do everything in my power," Budo said with the Emperor nodding. The Emperor walked forward. "From this day a new era will begin for the Empire. Whoever takes advantage of the poor, the innocent, will be condemned with a trial and will be investigated so as not to blame the innocent." The Emperor gave a speech to those present. "I will go to hold conference with the leaders of the Revolutionary Army, to discuss agreements to end this war. Great General Budo, General Esdeath, I require their company for this trip." The Emperor finished with everyone nodding and giving a salute of respect to the Emperor. "General Budo, I want to ask you for a personal favor. Please train me. If what that guy said is true, if I'm weak I shouldn't be Emperor," said the Emperor to Budo's surprise as the latter nodded to his request. From the shadows, 5 people were watching this happening seriously. "Do you think I'm in a dream?" Leonie asked. The pink-haired girl looked upset. "Gods really had to come for this to happen, it must be a joke," the pink-haired girl said angrily. Tatsumi was still looking at this seriously, remembering his friends. "I wish they had come sooner than what happened to Shieldo. I think the fact that peace can already be achieved without Night Raid interfering is the best thing that could have happened, mine," Tatsumi replied to the pink-haired girl. Everyone looked serious and thoughtful at Tatsumi after his words. "But we don't know if he's really going to do it. What do you think, Akame?" Lubbock questioned, asking the black-haired girl's opinion. Akame continued to look serious at the situation, while looking at herself with a thoughtful countenance. "The best thing would be to wait for Najenda to come back, inform her and see what she comes up with," Akame replied with everyone nodding and walking away. Elsewhere, Planet Earth, Universe 7. A portal would have been in front of the Capsule Corporation. Those present realized who it was. "Father," future Trunks and Trunks said in unison, approaching Vegeta. But Bulma pushed them both away and hugged Vegeta to Vegeta's surprise. Vegeta, being the way he is, pushed her away from himself, but noticed that she was crying and then comforted her, with most of them seeing the emotional moment. "Looks like it was faster than we thought it would be," future Trunks said, addressing the gods. "We found him quickly thanks to him using Super Saiyan God," Whis answered calmly, to the confusion of those who listened. Confused Bulma looked at Vegeta. "Why did you transform into God? Were you fighting with someone?" Bulma asked, confused. Vegeta just looked at her. "Not really," Vegeta said, turning away without wanting to say any more, which annoyed Bulma. "Oh ho ho ho," he laughed Whis in an amused way, calling the attention of those present. "The thing is that Vegeta was protecting them," Whis said, pointing to Luna, Air and Fal, with them bowing. More than a face of curiosity or confusion, they all showed a stunned expression of surprise, with a single thought: all. Did Vegeta protect them? The 3 of them watched as they all stared at Vegeta in surprise, as if what he did was something they never expected of him. "Nice to meet you, my name is Air." Air began to speak, introducing herself. "And they are Luna and Fal." Air introduced her friends to them. "We are the adopted daughters of Lord Vegeta." She finished speaking with everyone opening their mouths almost to the ground. "Whis, you got the wrong Vegeta. Ours is still lost in another dimension," Bulma said, not believing that it was her husband. Vegeta, upon hearing this, turned red with anger. "Of course it's me, you fool," Vegeta answered, annoyed at Bulma's comment. Listening to Vegeta, Bulma realized that he was indeed her husband, but she was upset when she realized that Vegeta called her a fool. Vegeta, realizing his mistake, decided to calmly explain why he adopted them. "Lord Beerus made me adopt them as punishment for making him come to get me," Vegeta said reluctantly. Beerus saw that Vegeta was upset and smiled. The punishment was severe enough for Vegeta. Bulma sighed. "Okay, we'll get to know each other better later. For now we're going to eat," to celebrate Vegeta's return and you're joining our family," Bulma said, with the three of them putting on extremely happy faces at the warm welcome. With the threat of Supreme Kai and the God of Destruction, the Emperor changed the course of the Empire. He met with the Revolutionary Army to discuss peace. The Revolutionary Army asked for Esdeath's head as a condition, but the Emperor refused. Moreover, Night Raid appeared at the meeting explaining what happened with the gods and what would happen if the war continued. At first they refused to believe, but with a lot of persuasion they reached another agreement, the marriage between two members of both sides. Over time, the criminals and the corrupt who inhabited the empire under the protection of Minister were captured, some sentenced to the dungeon and others to the guillotine. Akame and Kurome no longer had their duel. Peace in the empire made them meet again to be the sisters of always. The emperor had two stone statues made, one of the Supreme Kai and the other of the God of Destruction, as a symbol that a god should not be made angry. Esdeath was still ruthless in combat, but this time she did it for good and not to satisfy her sadistic side. Whenever she felt like making a war for fun, she remembered Goku's innocent look and Beerus's omnipotent look reminded her not to do it, until one day she forgot that part of her. With a thorough investigation, Najinta and a blonde guy named Run discovered that the Emperor's parents did not die of natural causes, but that the minister had killed them. By giving the information to the Emperor, he ordered the tomb he had built for the one he always believed to be his friend to be destroyed. The members of Night Raid traveled the world as planned. While traveling the world, Tatsumi and Mai fell in love and got married. And with Esdeath, Kurome, who on the trip was looking for a cure for her illness caused by drugs, and Wave accompanying them as he and Kurome were in a relationship. Bowles, a member of the Jeegers, went on a permanent vacation with his wife and daughter. In the Capsule Corporation, Air, Fal and Luna took time to adapt to the new life they had. The culture, technology, school, everything was extremely different from what they knew, but they managed to adapt with a lot of effort. Trunks was happy to have sisters, although Mai always took him by the arm and gave the three of them a threatening look, but they got along well. When they were visited by Goten, they saw that he was too innocent but very strong, with Luna feeling more than friendship and getting closer to them. Air became more interested in culture and technology, becoming closer to Bulma. As for Fal, she imitated the fighting movements that she could see when Vegeta trained. She had fights in her blood. Sometimes Trunks and Goten taught her, sometimes even Goku. When Bulla was born, she saw how she accepted and loved all three. The end.